Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the First Class, Second Place podcast. I'm your host, Jason Enrique, and we got some special first-class guests up in the building today. But before we continue, I want to remind everybody that we are live in Bravery Studios in Garfield, New Jersey. Shout out to Najee behind the glass. Looking good, man. How you been? Doing good? All right, man. I'm glad to hear it. So before we continue, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to do a little bit of sponsorship real quick. We got here from Thriving Stationery, Make Today Count, the official First Class Second Place journal now available. If you want to purchase your own, go at firstclasssecondplace@gmail.com, $25. Perfect gift for you and yours. Definitely check it out, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much to Thriving Stationery for sponsoring this episode. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do something a little bit different here. So we have a returning guest here, a returning first-class guest, one of my favorite people of all time, and we're also going to give an opportunity to somebody that wants to get into the podcast game, because honestly, I get all these messages all the time like, yo, how do you start your podcast? How do I get started? This and that, no. And I want to do one better. I want to give people the opportunity that I never got as a podcaster, and I want to help present that. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, my guest, Ryan Lamon, returning, and also Jade Bracero is in the building. What is going on, everybody?
Man, it's a great day. This is a surprise, but I love it. This would be great.
This is something that I just decided to do, I was looking forward to having you on. I loved, not just the episode that we did together before, but every time I've worked with you in some capacity, it's always been a joy to have you on, because I just think that not only are you a very positive guy, but I also think you're intelligent, you're smart, you're creative, and I think that you have what it takes to really make an impact in the world with your art. So I think that's really awesome, and we're going to get into all of that and so on and so forth. But for people that have not seen the episode that we did before, or when I filmed at the Film Factory in Jersey City at the time, just a little bit more about who you are and what you do, because honestly, bro, I remember when I first met you, there was a lot of things that you were doing, and now there's a whole bunch of stuff that you're doing now that it's not even, like, it's everything else was in the past. So like, I feel like I'm talking to a brand new Ryan Lamon now.
Well, first off, thank you for the intro.
Oh,
you have the best intros. I listened to the last episode maybe 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I was listening with my girlfriend. I'm like, man, Jason has the best intros. You just really, you hit it on the head, and I appreciate you.
I appreciate that.
But yeah, I mean, life is definitely forever changing.
Yeah.
On my side of things, I had for a long time the Film Factory and the Film Factory Loft in Jersey City.
Right.
That kind of got me into the whole idea of using a video camera and understanding what that all was about, and then also operating my own business, operating two businesses, running an Airbnb, and then also at the time running the band account and running my personal account, all these different things that I was doing.
You're wearing a lot of hats.
That eventually led me to the idea of, man, I could do this for a bunch of other people. Instead of being in a location, stuck to a location, I could go meet people at their location and turn it into a business model. So I just took the camera from the Film Factory, like the camera we bought, and then I started off and basically created Smiley Impact through that.
Which you're rocking the merch right now.
Yeah.
Look at that. Now, obviously, it's self-explanatory, because everybody that knows Ryan Lamon knows that you can't miss that $1 million smile right there. I mean, it says it all right there. I mean, but did you come up with that, or did somebody else come up with that and you feel like, you know what, I'll implement that into my business?
Was it just because you had such a pretty smile?
So it's interesting. So growing up, my whole entire childhood, my teachers at my school at St. Francis, they would call me Smiley.
Okay.
That was my nickname to my teachers. Nobody else called me that. My family didn't call me that. My friends didn't call me that. It was just teachers or maybe parents, coaches, things like
butterfly.
Yeah. So it was always, I just, Smiley, Smiley, Smiley. My mom would call me Sonny. That was also a nickname I had, Sonny.
Hey, Sonny boy.
Sonny, Smiling.
Yeah. So, very in this similar, range right there. But I remember the time that I created the actual name for it. I was with a client, and I had produced a video for that client in California.
Wow.
I went out to the TikTok headquarters for him, and I was out there, and I was working with a brand that they rented this house up in the Hollywood Hills, and it was
it one of those big TikTok groups?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. It was a agency that had all of their people there for this big TikTok event that was going on. And we went to the headquarters, and then we went up to the Hollywood Hills. They were in a huge mansion I was filming. So I did a highlight video of that trip. And the guy, my client, he's like, "What's your business name?" And at the time, I had just opened up like just my LLC so that I could operate as a business, as just like a sole ownership business. And it's just named Ryan Lamon LLC. So I made it simple, super easy.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, you can't put that at the end of the video, like produced by Ryan Lamon LLC.
Yeah.
He's like, "You got to have some kind of business name." So I was like, "I don't know. What do you think about Smiley Impact?" And he's like, "What about Impact Smiley? Like, you know, switch it. Like, it'll be really cool." I was like, "Nah, I like Smiley Impact."
Yeah, I think that has a little bit more pizzazz to it. You know?
Yeah. So that was
Impact
pretty much
Smiley
it.
just sounds forced. You
Also,
know?
your
Slightly.
your own first idea is normally like the best.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you'll have a bunch and then you always end up going back to that one.
100%. And that's how I felt in the moment. I said, "You know what? Smiley Impact, that sounds awesome." I went right on to like Canva, and then I put it into another program, and I found the logo like of the actual smiley face, and then I just found the text, and bam, it was just like in 5 minutes I made it, and I put it at the end of that video. And it was just like, you know, produced by Smiley Impact. And then from there, I still wasn't promoting the brand whatsoever. I was doing social media management. I was helping a bunch of people with video and
Wait, so you came up with that in like 5 seconds just for that and
Yeah.
then ran with it?
pretty much. I was already doing the business model, but I wasn't really pushing it out in the way of like how I push out other people's brands, because I was doing other things at the time. So I didn't really want to make that be like the main thing, even though it was the main thing. Very interesting.
Yeah,
but,
I'm like, that's cool.
yeah, it kind of making the name then forced me to get into it a lot more, because now there was an identity to it, and there was more of that mission behind it too. Like the mission behind all of this for me is kind of, you have what I was saying to you before. You kind of have two choices, and this is how I look at it. Not everybody's going to look at it this way. I also know it's not this easy, but in my head, when I'm thinking about something negative, I could really just flip it around and say, well, why is this happening? Let me look at it the other way, and let me see where is the positive part of this, or what am I learning from this? Which then, in my like world, when I look at it the opposite way and I say, what is the other way? I kind of smile in that moment. I'm like, man, I could have just done that from the start. And it took me a long time to get to that moment where I could just kind of flip the script. But I want to, I guess, get out into the world and impact people in a positive way, so that then they could just go and impact more people in a positive way.
Right.
And, you know.
And, you know,
that's it.
one of the things that fascinates me about you when it comes to that is that I feel like if anybody else would do it, it would be because they're trying to be on brand. Like, I look at somebody like Kevin Hart, and, you know, he'll try to be like all positive and try to show positivity and so on and so forth, as well as being funny on his thing. But at the same time, I feel like in some way or shape or form, it's forced. Like it's him trying to just push his brand further. When it
So
comes,
that was going to be my thought too, is
Yeah.
like, was once you made the name, did that kind of push you more towards like actually doing it because you got the followers and you got all the stuff? Like, did it make it more of that?
No,
Or
'cause
was it?
I honestly don't even think I had like my Instagram page set up for Smiley Impact at the time yet. To be honest, like I think I had changed over from like another thing I was doing. Like I said before, forever changing.
yeah.
My life is honestly like it's forever changing, because everything I see that I'm like not feeling it anymore, not really vibing with what was my past or what is going on. I need to take
But
a
we all
step.
evolve.
Yeah, it's just evolving. That's pretty much
It's
it.
just pure evolution. And
Yeah.
I've known you for several years now, and it's like I said, I remember I feel like this is a new you that I'm talking to because there's just a different things that you were into back then. Like you had the Film Factory, you had Toy Machine, you had Jersey Media. You were doing all these things. So the next time you come on the show, I feel like it's going to be a whole new other venture you have. Well, this guy's probably going to be like a talent agency or something. I don't know.
Hopefully.
I mean, I don't know. I always just trust my gut. That is the number one thing for me, is just trust your gut, understand what's not working, understand if you flip that, what's not working, and you try to say, okay, well, what is the opposite of this? Why is it not working? And you flip it to, okay, if I do the opposite of this, this, and this, that'll probably make me feel a lot better. It'll probably get me more on track of my finances. It might get me more on track in what I need to do for my health. And then I just like put that all in my brain. And then whenever I'm on a plane, for some reason, anytime I'm on a plane and I'm 30,000 feet up, I just write things in my notes. And I'll like write a whole entire list with 100 things. And if I say, if I do these 100 things, I'm going to be exactly where I want to be.
Do you ever sleep?
Yeah. Yeah. I get a lot of good sleep, to be honest. I used to get really bad sleep. That was something that I was very concerned about for a few years. Like when I was working in a corporate job, when I was doing like with the band and I was coming home at 3 a.m., or I was sleeping at the studio from 1 to 4, waking up, going back to my house, sleeping for 1 hour, then going to my corporate job. I was really messed up in the way of getting maybe like 3 good hours of sleep in the night. Whereas now I get a solid 6.5 hours, which I'm very happy with. 6.5 is much better than 3 that's interrupted because of other circumstances.
Do you think that that's also because like you follow your gut and like you're not dwelling as much on stuff, falling asleep? Because like I'm an overthinker when I'm trying to fall asleep. So like I'm trying to fall asleep and I'm like, but I could do this and I could do this. And it's like you're actively doing it. So like does that
For me, it's
help?
a double whammy because I'm an overthinker and unfortunately I also have sleep apnea, so I'm on the Bane mask every night.
Oh no. I'm just a mouth guard girly. Thank God.
I have my Bane mask. Here I am breathing like Darth Vader.
Talk about Bane.
Yeah, I'm breathing like Darth Vader, figuring out how am I gonna pay the light bill this month or some shit like that.
See, I wish it was just that. I'm over here like I have so many ideas and then I just don't follow them. Yeah. So I'm like, the fact that you're actually following yours, like,
that's
do
what
you
puts
think
me
that helps?
Yes, that 100% having more of that clear mind allows me to get a solid 6.5 hours. Like I think last night I didn't have the greatest sleep, but I have this watch and it tells me my sleep score. Last night I had poor sleep, but that's because I went out for a dinner and I had a drink and I had steak. I ate a lot of steak.
A drink.
No, I did. I had a drink. But that affects your score by a lot. Like I got a 57 out of 100 last night. Usually I'm like ranging like 84 to 90, which is a really good sleep.
That's what I'm like. I don't know what the range is.
Yeah, it's just out of 100.
It's probably not a good idea to have Taco Bell an hour before going to bed.
No, yeah, that would definitely affect the sleep score. But
my brother would argue otherwise.
Really? I mean, does it?
Some people just can handle some things. Some people can't. He's like, there's some people that love a good fast food, and some people that it just messes them up. Like White Castle. A lot of people can't eat White Castle.
Yeah.
Oh no, that really gets to people's stomachs. But that was another thing too. When I would come home late night, where was I stopping?
White Castle.
3 days out of the week sometimes.
And you have bubble guts.
Yeah, that's not a good lifestyle.
No, it is not.
When you're eating White Castle 3 times a week, something's going wrong.
First of all,
sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. So the past 3 addresses that I've lived at, there's been White Castles on the corner. So sure enough, you come home nice and tipsy.
Things come in threes.
Yes, and it's literally been 3 times right on the corner, and it's like you're driving home and you're like, you're gonna go to sleep, and then all of a sudden you smell onion rings, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, no, it's dangerous. It's dangerous.
It is dangerous, and I kind of understand where you're coming from because in my 20s, I was in the hospitality business for a long time. I was working in restaurants and stuff like that. And all I had was just the nightlife, you know, like I was staying up all night, sleeping all day, and now it's completely flipped on itself. And it's just completely different how life has changed from one decade to another. And I'm going to be 39 in a couple of weeks, so I'm just on the verge of another decade, and I have no idea what it's going to be like. But it seems to be the theme of the episode right now, which is evolution.
Yeah.
Because I just like... I remember there was an episode of Therapy Without a Degree that you did. I actually think it was the episode that I met you.
We met each other the first time I went on Therapy Without a Degree.
Right.
That's when we met each other.
Yeah, and I remember the story how like when we were going back to when you were working the corporate job and everything.
Yeah.
Like you kind of had to make a choice right there where, you know, do you want to keep on living this lifestyle, or do you want to branch out on your own and pursue your own happiness and your own goals and your own dreams? So you made that, and you made a lot of sacrifices. Like you were doing your business and so on and so forth, but you were also doing a lot of side hustles on this, you know, to keep it afloat. Like I remember you doing, you know, a lot of Ubering and stuff like that in order to keep the business going.
Yeah, Uber and 100 other things that, you know, it was like somebody's grandma needed me to move their couch, and it was like, yeah, Ryan's the guy. You know, someone needed to do, you know, me to landscape their grass. And
have you ever heard of
the guy? Like,
have you ever heard of the term "they take my kindness for weakness"?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like because I was doing so many things like for free for my businesses that I should not have been doing that. I should have been paying myself to do it in my business because I had partners. I was not doing that because I was just being way too nice.
But that's
so I would
curve.
leave my business to go do more business to keep my business afloat. Even though we had money in the business that I could have been paying myself, I was not doing that because I was like, no, this is the business. Like I want to keep as much in the business as possible. But I was doing all of the things like painting or cleaning or this or that, and not paying myself. So
those are the sacrifices you were making, but you know that was also a learning curve because
1,000%.
Listen, there's a lot of things that I've tried to pursue in life besides podcasting and besides acting, but you know there was a lot of things that didn't pan out the way that I wanted to. And there were periods where I was extremely discouraged, and there was at one point where I was so discouraged to the point where I wasn't even doing anything creative for a while. And that was probably my darkest time in my life, where I just felt like I didn't even want to be on this earth anymore. And it wasn't until I found my creative process again, and now I feel like I've been happier more than ever. Now, I'm still in my survival job, unfortunately, but I think the focus now is to make sure that I just try not to stretch myself out too thin, if that makes sense, because I feel like that was something that I was doing myself at one point, and I feel like I haven't mastered it yet, but I'm definitely learned how to balance it a little bit more this time around.
Yeah, that's such a huge thing, I would say, is being able to understand what that limit is. And I feel like that was probably like understanding that for me of, man, you're doing way too many things. And you don't have it in any type of system. That's when I realized, like, okay, I need to now kind of take all of the different bags I have on my shoulders, or the weights I have on my shoulders, and relinquish them and release them and say, okay, what do I really need, and
so
what's
were
the
you just
balance
bad at
on it?
Delegating? Or
not
was
even
it
delegating. No, just I guess in a way, just like saying yes to everything and being then also trying to be like the driving force behind all the things I'm saying yes to.
Behind all the yeses.
Yeah. So I'm like, instead of somebody like asking, hey, do you want to be a part of this thing? It would be like, hey, can you run this thing, or can you operate this, or can you come and do this video over here? And it's like I had to be there in order for it to work.
That's actually like a really good thing to have, because I was literally just talking to my friend about how like this is something that I want to do, but I'm like I'm just so bad at putting myself, like things are offered but I get so scared, and I'm like you know, a lot of people will be like, because they're just too scared to dive in. So the fact that you say yes to everything, yes, it can be bad, but also at the same time, the fact that you're brave enough to just say yes is also something a lot of people just don't even have in general.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd rather balance saying yes and having the balls to say yes to everything rather than being too scared
Yeah.
to
Well, what
say
would you
yes.
say brings like that fear upon you?
Failure, of course.
Failure?
Everyone's, you're scared to fail. You're
Yeah.
scared to not be good at something.
But is
you
that
know?
more of an internal battle, or is that something that you feel like everybody else is like all eyes are on you, and you feel like you subconsciously or not might be letting them down?
Oh no, for me it's just me.
It's just internal.
Because if it's no one's ever harder on me than me.
You're your own biggest critic.
Yeah, for sure. I'm like, I don't want to disappoint myself more than anything else.
So what would you say is your biggest critique of yourself now?
Right now, it's like since I said yes to this, is that I don't say yes to things enough. Is I don't try new things as much as I should and I want to. Because, like I said, we talked to our friend and I was like,
Sure.
I want to try new things. I want to do new things. I want to whatever. And then the opportunity comes and it's like, I'm too scared. And I say no. And it's like, no, I should be saying, yeah. And if if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But at the end of the day, I'm so hard on myself. It's like,
Well,
just stick to your day job.
Well, one thing that interests me, because one of the things that I get a lot when people ask me about podcasting in general, one of the things that I'm always interested in is I want to know what is it about a certain person that why they want to do this. Because let's be honest, it's a very oversaturated market. It seems like everybody can do it now. There's statistics out there, and I've told this on the show plenty of times, where there's a huge statistic where people don't make it out of 10 episodes, and then afterwards that's it, it's gone. Like, so me doing almost 200 episodes, I'm kind of like in the 1 or 2% of podcasters out there in the world. Little humble bragging myself, but
like,
but so I guess what I'm getting at is that what was your inspiration? Like, why, like in an oversaturated market, why do you feel like this would be the perfect outlet for you personally?
So for me, it's just, I think I'm funny. Number one. Two, also just like I watch a lot of like duos and a lot of like stuff like that.
You get inspired?
Yeah. Okay. And me and my friend, like just the way we feed off of each other all the time. It's like if someone were recording us, if someone was watching us, this would literally be the funniest thing anyone's ever seen.
Right.
This would be the best thing. And it's like, okay, why don't we? Like,
yeah, literally the biggest thing there is being able to have that same exact camaraderie, same exact like bullshitting back and forth to each other while the camera's rolling, because it's completely different. And I film people 7 days a week right now, and I talk with them beforehand, and the next thing you know, they're a completely different person once I press record. Same thing for me. If I go to record, a YouTube video of myself, my voice is slightly different than if I were just talking with somebody.
Yeah.
But again, like any actors or any actresses or people that are on TV shows or comedians, same thing for them. Same thing for people that are going and playing on stage, and they're musicians. They put on a show. You're an entertainer. That's what all of this is. It's entertainment for people. Yeah. So if you can harness what you're doing when you're just bullshitting with your friend, harness that energy, but then be able to also understand, the cameras are rolling, but it's gonna change slightly because the cameras are rolling and the lights are on. But how do you keep that still going and entertaining? And then just do it. Literally just try it. Just do it.
We tried it one time playing around, like just kind of like putting up an iPhone.
A trial run,
And it was so awkward. But it was only because we knew that it was like our first time.
Yeah.
And it was like, just roll the whole thing and see if we just... Are we ourselves on camera? Are we not ourselves on camera? Are we not? Are we whatever?
Right.
But I also think it was just a lot of pressure at the time. Because, like, right now, I feel like I talked to you guys before. So now it's like, okay, it's easier.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And, another thing also, what I think, and we obviously can relate to this, is a lot of overthinking. And what I mean by that is if somebody wants to be a podcaster or if they want to do something like what you do, filming, creating content, whatever the case may be, there's a lot of overthinking. And what I mean by that is, like, an example is like, somebody will be like, I want to start a podcast, but I don't know what to talk about. And I'm like, that should be the least of your worries, because listen, there's
1,000
baseball podcasts, there's 1,000 movie podcasts, there's a bunch of everything is the same. There's no new genre, there's no genre in podcasting that's breaking ground. It's all about, people don't want to hear what topics you're going to talk about. They just want to hear your thoughts on a certain subject or whatever the case may be, you know? So, like, I've done sports podcasts before. I've done movie podcasts before. There's billions of those out there in the world. But people have watched the stuff that I've done because they want to hear my opinion and they want to hear my take on what it is and how I do it, because everybody else is their own person.
Yeah.
So the focus shouldn't be like, I want to do this, but I don't know what I would do it on. No, just do it on one you feel like is up your niche, up your alley, and just go for it. And if you feel that confident in yourself already, then you should have no problem. I know it's easier said than done, but it should be easier just, you know, doing it with just a microphone and a camera in front of you. I mean, at the end of the day, overthinking is what kills everything.
No, yeah, that's why, like, when you asked me, you were like, do you have topics? Do you have stuff? I was like, yeah, we have our vibe. I was like, my thing is I literally don't know where to start.
For me, what you said before and what you just said now, in my head, what you need to do is just write a list. Seriously.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I said, on the plane or every single day, I
You said
write
you're
a
going
list.
on a trip. On the plane, write down a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah. No, seriously. Like, get into your notes and just write as many things as possible. Get it into the phone, get it onto the paper, because when you have that little dot next to it, or you
yeah.
have the thing where you cross
so
it out,
satisfying.
it's so satisfying.
Yeah.
And that's how, when you get to bed at night and you have every check off that list, I'm guarantee you'll have a 95 sleep score, 100 sleep score. I'm not kidding.
No, I believe you.
I'm like so serious. You could watch old videos of mine where I'm talking about make a list, write a list.
Yeah.
It changes everything. And like, I remember I was stuck in a rut creatively and in business and just everything. I was just like so in a rut. And this is about a year ago, I would say.
Wow, that recent, huh?
Yeah. And I just was like, I don't know what's next. I was kind of stuck in my ways of like, I didn't know where I was getting to past where I was at. I was like, what does the future look like? And I was asking my friend Tommy, he's one of my clients and one of my best friends. I was like, Tom, what do I got to do to kind of be like you, man? Like you got to figure it out. You got this over here. You got properties. You have a management company that you're doing. He's like, just write a list. And I was saying that to people all the time 3 years before that, 2 years before that. But I, for myself, forgot that is pretty much all it takes.
Do you have ADHD?
Not really. I don't know.
I do, because I'm horrible. I was like, I'll make the list, and then I'll never look at it again.
That is a very common thing too,
Yeah.
because one of my old business partners, he would do that all the time. He had like 100 different apps that he would put all these different things, but then he would never open the app again.
Notifications and everything,
yeah.
and I'll swipe the notification away.
Yes, that's a very common thing. But if you write it down in your phone and you make it a thing
A
for yourself.
conscientious.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, this is what I'm doing. This is what's going to help me get to the next thing. And you understand that. If you write that list and you don't do anything on that list and you look at it, you're going to feel
like shit. Yeah.
And that is the best feeling that you could feel when you're trying to
Feeling
grow.
like shit?
Yeah. When you're trying to grow,
Yeah.
you can't be comfortable.
Yeah.
You just can't be. You'll find comfortability through it, but you'll never get anywhere if you don't finish that list. It's right there. I still have things on my list I wrote a year ago, the 100 things I wrote on the plane that I still haven't gotten done yet. And I know those things that I didn't get done, I know those exact things are what's going to get me to the next step for myself. But I still haven't done it because I'm ignoring some of them. And that's why my sleep score was at 56 last night.
I mean, 100 things is still a lot of things to get through in general.
But it's not. It's not. You make them simple, too.
Yeah, it could be difficult, but it's not impossible, you know? Like, at the end of the day, that old cliche saying, actions speak louder than words, because it goes back to with this podcast, like, again, I've said this plenty of times on my show, like, when I first had the idea, I probably didn't get it off the ground, my first episode, until maybe almost a year in. Like, I remember I bought the equipment and everything, but it was still collecting dust on my desk because I said, all right, I got this stuff, but I'm still waiting for the right moment, this, that, and the third. And then I just feel like I was embarrassing myself because I was telling all these people like, oh, I got all this and I have this in my mind and so on and so forth. And I never applied myself. And then it was like, all right, I feel like people are just taking me as a guy that's just all talking, no action. So I just finally told myself, you know what? This is not how I want to do it right away. But if I don't get this done now, it's never going to happen. So I just said, fuck it. I'm just going into my fucking closet. I'm going to do it for 5 minutes, even if it's just 5 minutes. And that was my first episode. And after I published it, I was like, okay, now I'm officially a podcaster. How much longer can I go? Now we're in episode 174. So that's progress right there, ladies and gentlemen.
It's evolution.
Yeah.
It's evolution. And one more thing before I go into what I'm going to say to Jason.
Yeah.
Your first thing on your list should be open my list.
Wait,
check it off. Check it off.
Believe it or not, I do have one already, which is why I was asking him. I was like, my thing is I'm, like I said, my ADHD is literally like step per step.
Yep.
So I'm like, what do I buy? What programs do I need?
Also,
how do I do XYZ? Because I'm like, I literally am one of those people, like, I'm step for step.
Got it.
So I'm like, no problem. I can have all this.
Yeah.
But just because I have it doesn't mean I know how to.
I'm the same way. Also, I have to do step by step. I can't just go step out of the box or anything like that. But I do want to ask you this, because I think this is actually what helped me out also kind of in the long run. Is there anybody in your life that is just a swift kick in the ass to get you to get your ass in gear?
My brother.
Okay. So what your brother needs to do is make a checklist of giving you a kick in the ass to get your ass in gear.
I'm like, my little brother is my biggest bully. He's the one that's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I'm like,
have him watch this episode. Have him write out a list to kick you in the ass to get your ass in gear. That's what he needs to
make a
do.
list. Yeah. You already have the list.
Or no, to apply the list.
But it's all about evolution. What Jason said and even like what we were talking about before, that 5-minute episode, when he looks back at that right now, you know how proud he is of that episode?
I don't know about all that.
No, but
You cringe? Do you cringe?
kind of, yeah.
but how proud were you right now when you just said, and now we're on episode 174?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
But I tell every single brand that I work with, every single company that I work with that doesn't have anything on their social media yet. For example, my friend Tommy, his company is Visa Property Management. They had maybe a few posts, 5 posts up on their Instagram. They had a very old looking logo, not really appealing. I told them, I said, one of my favorite things that I see for brands is when they post what their old logo used to look like and now what through the years how it changed. Nike, Adidas, Instagram, Twitter, all these things, they changed throughout the years. And when you look back at that first one, you're like, wow, that's so cool how they're still a company through all these different changes. And look at the evolution of what it was. And look at what the first, Instagram post looked like compared to what it looks like now. And just imagine all the things that it had to go through to get there. New cameras, new ideas, different brainstorming sessions.
So that's why I think it's crazy, because I
fun.
think we're the last generation that's going to appreciate that. Because I feel like
Possibly.
the generation younger than us, they don't really know.
Possibly, but it's also up to us. I don't know. I'm getting philosophical here right now, but
I mean,
it's
I brought it up.
it's up to us. Like, if I ever have children, I feel like it's my job to like instill that in them to make sure that they still have it.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason why we're still a little fucked up is because our previous generation kind of fucked things up for us. So, but that's a personal take.
But people always love nostalgia. If you look at anything.
That's another thing too. Yeah.
Well, that's why I feel like we're the last ones. Because even when I talk to like literally anyone younger, and I'm like, that's from this, or like this is what it used to be, or this is what it used to look like, and
yeah,
they're
but
like,
when you were their age, didn't you kind of have that mindset as well?
No, because my parents always showed me the older stuff,
Okay.
so I had the appreciation for
So
it.
now you have to show this new generation.
Yeah,
that same
but they don't
stuff.
appreciate
So
it anyway.
maybe that's your podcast.
There you go.
I think
me showing myself how old I am.
Is that a bad thing? Like, it's not a bad thing. Like, that's life.
Yeah.
I
I
never
mean?
say I'm getting older. I say I'm getting better.
Getting wiser.
Yeah.
Age like fine wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
We're
like,
Hispanic. We age gracefully,
Oh, thank God.
Sorry, Ryan.
hey, I said before, I'm Cuban by association.
There you go.
And you say you were what?
By injection.
But see, this is the barriers you have to break. This is you getting more
Yeah.
comfortable in front of the mic, in front of the cameras and everything. This is this is your selling point. This is your brand.
Yeah.
This is what's gonna open up
You're
for you.
honest. You're good at it. You're great at this.
Yeah, I love the fact that you're very inquisitive so far. Like I feel like you've lifted the weight off my shoulders here a little bit.
Thanks. The other thing is like ADHD. Once I have the question, I have to say it or I'll forget. So I genuinely have to ask it as soon as it comes to mind, or it's gone.
Well, I think this is a nice segue because we're talking about lists and writing things down. I'm going to take time to thanks Thriving Stationery again. See, I can't even fucking talk right now. But thank you to Thriving Stationery. If you need to make lists or write down, you can purchase this notebook right here. Yes, I'm talking to you also, Jade. Thank you to Thriving Stationery for sponsoring this episode. Reach out to firstclasssecondplace@gmail.com to purchase one of these, $25 for you and yours. Please look out for that. Thank you again for Thriving Stationery for sponsoring this episode.
I'll let you know before I
also,
leave.
since we got a businessman here, why don't you? First of all, I appreciate the gift.
Of course.
Smiley Impact.
Yes, sir.
You sell your own merch as well. Tell the people about it a little bit if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's the brand really, again, is just how can I impact somebody to then impact another person, and then that just be able to influence everybody in the world. So just to bounce off of that, I want to tell you guys an idea that I'm going to be doing.
Okay.
With like the weather becoming nicer now.
It's about fucking time.
Yeah.
Seasonal depression is crazy.
Yeah, and I was just in Florida, so I am really feeling great because I was in the sun, and I cannot wait for it to hit Jersey and be like
nice.
65, 70 degrees.
Must be nice.
No, it was very nice. But regardless, so with the spring and summer coming up, I'm going to be doing these things where I pop up to my favorite coffee shop. Let's say it's Iconic Coffee in Hackensack.
Oh, I know.
Shout
Yeah,
out to Iconic. That's my guy, LeVar. Appreciate you. Thank you for the coffee yesterday. You're the man.
Looking for sponsorships. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm going to pop up to like spots like that, whether it's a pizza place, a deli, a coffee shop, and set up a little thing outside where I just have my camera set up and maybe like a little sign that says, share something that has impacted you today or this week or this year, or share something that made you smile today, share something that made you happy this week. And if somebody comes and says something on that video and they share their experience or their story real quick, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, I will just go inside and buy them their coffee. Wow. And I think the reason and my intention behind it is just to make somebody's day. And that's been the intention from the start. And I think that whenever you have a good intention behind something, it just really does work out because you're not thinking about it. Oh, well, this is going to grow my Instagram following. This is going to grow my business. This is going to get me 10 new clients. I'm not thinking about it that way. I don't even want to think about it that way.
Yeah.
I wanted to literally make that person's day. But the reason why I want to video it is because that's going to impact so many more people in the world.
Because you're benefiting from the story.
Yeah. The people that then see the video, so many more people, it can reach so many more people by it being a video. So that then maybe some like little Ryan Jr. out there that is like, you know what? I also want to impact somebody. They might go do something similar and they might buy the next person they see a coffee, or they might do that. And I just think that it's going to be very infectious, and it's going to allow for something great to happen somewhere in the world. And it's definitely going to happen at the spot that I'm at, buying the person the coffee. That's a fact.
Yeah.
But that video might be able to reach somebody somewhere totally different, that then they go and impact somebody. And that's what I'm going to really try to now dive into, now that I've kind of reached this point in my business where I have my clients, I have the people working with me, and it's running smoothly. So I'm trying to say, what can I do now to actually make that smiley impact? And you guys could definitely come when I do that. I'll let you know.
I'm so down.
I can buy you guys some coffees, and
I live in
we could have a
Hackensack, so
great
it's
day.
perfect.
It's perfect.
That's not too far from me.
I'll do it. I'm going to be
nothing
doing
in
it in
Jersey is
Hoboken
too far
too.
anyway.
I'll be doing it I'm going to be
Oh
everywhere.
yeah, you're there Fridays, right?
Yeah, I'm there on
I'll
Friday.
be there.
So I'll be everywhere doing it, but that is really, I just want to dive into that next. Like, that is my goal with all of this, is to make an impact somewhere, wherever it is, however many people it is, 1 person, 10 million people. I just hope that one day it does get to 10 million people, and it's like a smile day or something like that. I don't know, like everybody like posts a picture of them smiling on Instagram, and it's like, that's all you see, and then you just go out to the world and have a great day.
Well, that's like, have you ever like gone to like a drive-through and somebody paid for your stuff, and then you pay for it? Like,
Pay it forward.
Yeah.
the excitement that I have when someone does that for me, and I'm like, I don't know what that person's thing is gonna be, but like, this is how much mine was gonna cost, so I'm gonna put that much towards theirs,
There you
because
go.
I'm not balling, but I'll put it out there, so it's like, maybe they only gotta pay $10, or maybe they don't have to pay anything.
Yeah.
Maybe that's enough for 2 people, because maybe they just got a kid's meal. But it's, you put it out there in the universe.
Yeah, you
and
never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I love it.
Those are my favorite things. When I get that, I'm like, I pull up into a drive-through, I'm like, how did I get so lucky? Not me, you know?
Yeah, it's a real thing.
Always
Yeah.
comes back to White Castle. I see.
It does.
I said drive-through. I could have been talking about McDonald's.
Or Starbucks or something.
there you go.
No, it was like I think that happened to me
I've
too.
never seen someone pay it back for White Castle.
Yeah, because you don't know who's getting the crave case. You don't know who's getting the crave case and 100 nugget
I'm like,
chicken
I've
wings
never experienced it at White Castle.
and a fish nibbler.
All right, well, let's not talk about White Castle because they ain't sponsoring this motherfucking show. But anyways,
I love that.
but I guess I like. So far, I love that you're really into this episode so far, and it seems like you have a knack for it and everything. But I guess going back of what he was just saying right now, when it comes to you dropping your outlet and doing whatever you want to do, what kind of impact would you like to see your art and your form bring out to the world if possible?
More so, I want to be able to show people that are scared to do it, because my fear of doing it is definitely something I want to talk about. Like, I'm terrified of doing it and failing, but I'm gonna do it anyway. You know?
Do you have jitters as we speak?
I did when I first got here.
Okay.
I feel like way more comfortable now because it just feels like a easy conversation. But when I first got here, it was like, am I going to be sweating because I'm in front of the camera? Is it going to be, am I going to be able to participate in the conversation kind of thing? Am I just going to be somebody
Well, this is where I give you credit because not only did you say yes and you came here, but you didn't try to make any kind of excuses. I mean, first of all, thank you so much for coming all the way from wherever you came from. I'm not going to put your information out there, but it was a drive. You did come out here for this, so that's something in itself, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And that goes to show that I think you wanted a little bit more than other people that I know personally.
Yeah. Like I said, I was terrified, and I was like, do I try to be like, can we do it Friday or something? Because I have off on Friday. So I was like, I have more time. And I was like, no. I was like, because the more time you have to think about it and get nervous about it, the worse it's going to be.
Right.
You already said yes, and you already said you're going to do it. So just do it. And if you fail, you fail. They'll edit you out and...
No, that's
doesn't
not gonna
matter.
happen.
There's really no failing in any of it.
Because if you're
no
boring,
failing.
they'll just
Right.
edit you out.
But see, also I think that's just a part of our human trait because even though Ryan being himself and also part of his brand, being on brand with being positive and always just going for it and everything, you don't think that he has fears of doubts and failures in the back of his head? Of course, it's only just, nobody wants to fail. Nobody wants to fall flat on their face, but that's just a risk that you got to take. I mean, there's billions of stories out there of people that were successful that fell on their face in some way, shape, or form. That just didn't stop them. And, this guy has been through a lot of things. He's done business after business, but he's still going,
No, that's like when we first got here, and I was like, I don't know how you're so positive. I was like, I get that's your brand. I was like, but I literally watched the video where he ripped his pants and had a boot in the same 10 minutes.
A boot on the car, specifically.
Yeah. I was like, a boot on the car and ripped pants at the same time. I'm like, when I tell you I would be on the corner sobbing,
Yeah.
I would not. He's like, no, I didn't even have to pay for the boot.
I would be cursing God
I fixed
or
it
something
out.
like that.
He's like, I put a furry hat on my head with the ripped pants. Is what it is. I'm having fun with it. I'm like, no. I would be like unwell.
Yeah. my thing in that situation was, okay, again, there's two ways to look at this. I could let this ruin my Friday. That was so great. That Friday was great. I was so happy. I was with my friends working. I even went upstairs in that office space. They have a pool table on the third floor. So I beat my friend in a game of pool, and then I looked outside the window. Just for some reason, I looked out the window and I saw the boot on my truck, and I was like, "No way!" I'm like, "There's no way." I'm like, I pay every week, and I forgot this week because I was so excited to come in here, blah, blah. And my friend Tyler, he's like, come on, we'll go downstairs. Don't even worry, the boot's already on there, so we'll just go, we'll get some more work done, and we'll forget about it. And I'm like, yeah, come on, let's go downstairs. So I go downstairs, and I go to plug in my laptop, and for some reason at this place, the outlets are on the floor. So I go to plug it in.
Like an airport?
Yeah. And my pants just completely ripped right after I saw the boot from the window. And I felt like SpongeBob in that episode, like where he ripped his pants. And then this is the second time my pants have ripped, which says something about me. I'm wearing too tight of pants. But you know what? That's okay. I was vibing.
We're gonna make you bend when you get out of here.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna do squats in my jeans. These ones are actually I went a size up on these, so we're good. But yeah, I ripped my pants, and then I was laughing, and my friend Tyler is like, you know what? I'm always videoing him. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna video you right now. Let's just go outside, just start talking. So that's what we did. I went outside, and I was just like, you can look at this two ways. You can either be really upset, or you can say, you know what? I'm going to try to call this place and say, look, I park here every single week. I made a mistake today. Please, if there's anything you could do, whether it's a discount or whatever. And if not, who cares? I made a mistake. That's okay. And I called, and I was very happy on the phone, and I said my part. And the lady said, you know what? I'm going to come back right now and take it off.
You want to know something? You just reminded me of a story that I locked away years ago, and it just came up. And I want to. There's a little story time right here.
I love this because literally my friend, whenever she unlocks something, she's like, "Vault is open." She's like, "It's now in here." So
I don't know if it necessarily falls in line with your silver lining, but I still found a silver lining in this way, shape, or form. So let me explain. So back in 2009, I was dating somebody, and this was the first time that I was ever dating somebody that had a child. And naturally, I don't know what to do. I've never been around a child or anything like that. And naturally, this kid doesn't know me from a can of paint, so he doesn't know how he's going to react. So I remember one day we went to the Meadowlands Fair. Okay. And long story short, I forget exactly what I was doing, but it was one of those things where I had to really contort my body, and then all of a sudden my pants ripped to the point where you could see the back of my thigh. I was embarrassed, obviously, but that kid found it so funny, but he wasn't laughing at me like, ha ha, like he just thought it was some funny stuff, and that kind of led him to be loose around me a little bit more, like, okay, this guy's not that serious. He's actually a good guy and everything. And he's treating my mom nice and everything. And then we, from the time up until I stopped dating his mother, the kid was really cool with me. We were really close for the time and so on and so forth. So it took something of that ilk to make that kid laugh and kind of loosen up. So yeah, I had to be embarrassed in front of a whole crowd at the Meadowlands Fair in order to have this little boy's young joy right there.
Yeah,
So,
great relationship.
How
to
long
come.
did you stay at the fair with Rip Pants?
roughly 2 hours.
So I was like, did you
Roughly 2
immediately leave or you stayed?
No, I stayed, but I was also doing the stupid thing
You
where I was trying to see if
trooped it
they were
out.
selling basketball shorts anywhere that I could buy, but no, I was shit out of luck.
You just trooped it out. I love that for
I
you.
had to, yeah. I had to.
And how old was this kid?
Like 5.
Oh, yeah. Of course he's enjoying it because it's eye level.
Damn, that went dark.
Hey, this ain't no Diddy. This ain't no Diddy.
I meant like just seeing it. I didn't mean that close.
Talk about Dark Side of the Moon. But anyways. Oh my God. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we are pressed for time on this episode. I feel like this went by a little bit way too faster than I wanted to, but I'm very, very fortunate that both of you guys were able to come through. Jay, thank you for so much in taking an interest and wanting to do this and being a part of this. I think we could definitely work on something more in the future. Ryan, it is always a pleasure to see you, brother, whether it's through phone or podcasting, creating. You're just one of the coolest people that I've ever met in my life, and I don't think I'm ever going to meet another person like you, and I'm very fortunate to know a guy like you.
Damn, that is really nice. That's like, wow.
Oh, he's blushing. I love it.
No, like I said, I liked your stuff too.
That was really, that was like, wow. I've like honestly never heard that like straight up just like that, and I really appreciate both of you guys. Like, thank you for letting me kind of just like tell my story and who I am, because it's I think that at one point or another it's going to be able to just like impact thousands and hopefully millions of people, and like I don't really want anything from it other than me being able to like have more fun with my family and my friends and my girlfriend and, you know, my eventual kids and everything like that. Like, that's all I want in my life, is to enjoy my life and like be positive about my life and have the bad days come, but let the bad days be less. And like, if there's 30 days in the month, have like 3 bad days, maybe 7, maybe even 12. But as long as it's 51 to 49, even if it's 50-50, that's still a better 50-50 is okay. 50% sad, 50% happy. As long as it's always teetering the happier way in my head. But even if it goes under that, that's fine. But just always having the mentality that you can achieve something greater, or you can achieve to be a little bit happier. You can make somebody else happier. That's all in my head, all it comes down to. And I just hope that one day I'm able to relax with my friends and family and other people that aren't in any type of position at the moment, that they understand that they can also get to that moment. If they're in thousands and thousands of dollars of debt, they can get out of it. If they have a business that's failing, they could get out of it and create a successful one. If they have a relationship that's not good, they could get out of it and they could get into a better one. There's so many ways to change your life. So I just hope that one day happens for everybody. Like, everybody that's in a bad situation, they just see something and they say, you know what, I can get myself out of this no matter how hard it is. I know that if I write my list and I make that really substantial movement towards it and really conscientious like effort towards it, that you can get there. You've heard the story a billion times. You've seen the people do it. They get out of that position. They get to wherever it is. It doesn't have to be the top. It doesn't have to be fame. It doesn't have to be anything like that. Just for you to feel better and the people around you to feel better.
Round of applause, round of applause, round of applause for Ryan Lamon. All right, so before we get out of here, we have one more final segment. I hope you guys don't know what's coming. Just having a lot of fun. All right, so these guys are not familiar with it, but the rest of the audience is. So now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for this or that. If you've never seen the show before, what happens is I will ask my guests and also guest host today multiple choice questions. It's inspired off of Black Sheeps. You can get with this, you can get with that, and it's no right or wrong answers, just what you like best. And we're gonna start with ladies first, and then go over to you, Ryan. All right, so are you ready, Najee? Are you ready, Jade?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready, Ryan?
Let's go.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go for this or that. You, Jade, and Ryan, playlist or podcast?
Playlist.
Playlist.
Okay. Slides or Crocs?
Slides.
Slides.
Okay. Beach or pool?
Beach.
Beach.
All right. Dogs or cats?
Dog.
Dogs.
Are you an early bird or a night owl?
Night.
Early bird.
Okay.
Definitely.
I love sleep.
Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Instagram.
To give or to receive?
Give.
To give.
Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
Both.
Extrovert.
Batman or Superman?
Superman.
Ooh. Batman.
Iron Man or Captain America?
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Are you glass half empty or glass half full?
Sadly empty.
Full.
I was like, we knew that one already.
Would you rather be embarrassed or be afraid?
Afraid.
Embarrassed or I guess afraid, yeah.
Okay.
I love Halloween.
Would you rather be too hot or be too cold?
Too cold.
Too hot.
Would you rather do dishes or laundry?
Laundry.
Ooh, dishes, definitely.
Do you prefer the window seat or the aisle seat?
Window.
Window all day.
I need the aisle. I pee a lot, so.
I can sleep through my pee. I can.
Yeah,
fine.
that's true.
I'm like, I
is
can
so
sleep
true.
through that.
No way. I have sleep apnea, so even my bladder stays
Me
awake.
too. But it's like I wake up and I go, shh.
Are you a
Back to
left
sleep.
or right window?
I'll take whatever I can
Yeah,
get.
same, to be honest.
Like, whatever I can get.
Same.
I bring my own pillow too, so I tuck it right there.
Mm-hmm.
Good to go.
If somebody asked the left or the right window, picky.
Literally.
Yeah. Book smart or street smart?
Street.
Street smart.
Do you prefer reading or writing?
Reading.
Writing.
Yeah, you got to write that list. What's wrong with you?
She's got the list.
That's why I say I read a lot of books. I don't write my own stuff.
Maybe you should read that list.
I got to write it first.
Would you rather speak every language or play every instrument?
Speak every language.
Speak every language.
Okay. Cardio or weights?
Weights.
Wait.
Right. Dancing or karaoke?
Karaoke.
Dancing.
Drama or comedy?
Comedy.
Comedy.
Ice water or room temperature?
Ice water.
Room temperature.
And then finally, teamwork or solo project?
Teamwork.
I love both, but right now, I love solo projects.
Okay,
Teamwork
all right.
makes the dream
Teamwork
work.
makes the dream work. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this and that. That is going to do it for this episode of First Class, Second Place. Thank you to my great guests, Ryan and Jade, for coming through here. Thank you so much, guys. This was so much fun.
Thank you,
Jade, really
Jason.
quick, is there anybody you want to give a shout out to before we close out?
Chad.
Hey,
I want to
what's
thank
up,
you
Chad?
for getting me here. Love you. Appreciate you. That's about it. And you guys, obviously, thanks for having me.
Oh, shit. You shouldn't have. You shouldn't have. Ryan, anybody want to give a shout out to before we close out?
Shout out to both of you. Shout out to Bravery Studios. And yeah, shout out to every single one of my clients. I appreciate all of you guys. And I want to give another shout out to Iconic Coffee. I work there pretty much like 3 days a week. It is my office, and I appreciate you, LeVar. Thank you, man.
Oh, I love that, guys. All right, where can they find you guys on social media real quick?
JMB_8 on Instagram and everything else.
I am at Ryan Lamon _ and then Smiley_impact.
All right. Thank you guys so much for coming through. I really appreciate this. Jade, you did an amazing job. Ryan, you're as awesome as always.
you,
Najee,
Jason.
great job as always. Thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, you can find me at I am Jason Enrique on all social media platforms. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube at Jason Enrique. Thank you so much to Thriving Stationery for sponsoring this episode. We will catch you guys next week. This has been the First Class episode. First Class, Second Place. Whoa, let me stop. This has been the First Class, Second Place podcast. We out.